Welcome, everybody. Josh, your RV nerd, here in beautiful, sunny southern Michigan on a balmy 30-degree day, getting you some updated footage of a model where the last 3 years, this has had a major flaw in road mode. And I'm not going to say they've completely addressed it, but they finally did something that I think will actually work for a large number of people. This is a fantastic floor plan for people who maybe have a mid-sized tow package pickup, a larger class SUV, or maybe you just don't want something massive. It'd be a fantastic solo camper, but because it's not an east-west crawl over each other bed, it could be a very cozy couples camper, and I say cozy because it's more of a full bed. When you read a lot of RV manufacturer literature, they get very loose with bed terminology. They're going to call this a queen. Snot at all, but you do have basically a full-size front bed that you can walk around. It has a little bit of hanging storage for kind of like a mine and yours situation. This year, they went with more of a lagoon-style table for the dining, so it's there when you want it, gone when you don't. The sofa can fold down into a little sleeper, although there's no like theater seat swap option available on this because the slide-out just doesn't allow for it, basically. And it's a small kitchen, but pretty feature-packed, including an oven that very few single-axle campers give you, and a bigger oven at that. They also give you things like a bigger vent fan in the bathroom and a bunch of other good stuff like factory standard solar and inverter and holding tank heaters, double Asdel, aluminum framework, a lot of stuff going on here. But this RV's greatest assets are its greatest liabilities. It's small, but that means it doesn't have a lot of room. It doesn't have a lot of storage. It's got limited shower headroom. And giving you information like that, telling you the good with the bad, is what I want to do today. So if you appreciate how we share straight candidate info with you, hit that subscribe button, like our video, and on the way, let me know what you like and what you hate about this camper. So giving you a little clip of the door on the left over there is a bit of a reference. When you walk in, you peek your head to the left, which typically when you're shopping for an RV or when you first walk inside, this would be your first view of it right here. It's a small slide, but it's a small camper, so it has a pretty decent impact about it. You might notice GeoPros have always been this way, but no vents or carpet or anything. The only carpet you'll see in the RV is just either where I wipe my feet when I walk in the door, or technically the around the bed stands where they're covering up the front pass-through compartment. You might see a little bit of it there. They've maintained storage above the slide, which is really critical in this little camper because this thing does have very limited storage space, so that becomes very, very valuable. And they've gone with a little bit of a lagoon-style table right here. That's L-A-G-U-N, in case you weren't aware. The thing is, that table, it can be removed, or it can turn and pivot. It can do a little bit of whatever you want. So if you're looking for like a quick little place to set a dinner plate, you got it. You want a little laptop station. They're sturdy and secure. They're not like the old tables that used to just kind of bracket onto the front of the sofa where the screws would often strip out and rip out. It's not one of those kind of things. It's actually very similar to like if you got into like a Winnebago Class B motorhome for like 200 grand, it'd be essentially the exact same hardware they're doing there. Now, this is a 12-volt smart TV, and maybe it's just been a while since I was in one. I feel like this is a little bit bigger than what they were running before. One of the other kind of cool things about this is that the TV, if I can get it, there we go. The TV can pivot. I should have probably already done that before I started the footage, but you can make it face toward the sofa. You could make it face toward the bed. It can turn a little bit more than that. Like if I sit back here to give you a point of view, if I actually lay back on the bed, it can pivot a little more. It won't face directly toward the bed, but it'll face mostly toward the bed. You have a Coleman Mach Air up here, which normally are a little bit quieter, but this is a direct dump air conditioner, so you're going to hear it. You know, being real with you guys, when that thing cranks on, you're going to hear it. There's just going to be no doubt about the fact, is the air running or not? You're going to know. The kitchen is appliance heavy, but it's countertop prep space almost non-existent, effectively. Down here, you can tell that I'll just tell you what's real and what's not. I try to be very fair with this. They've gone with this new Power Pro smart command system. Now, it does just have buttons. Oh, I said its name. So the beep, that was it listening to me. It's listening to me talk right now. Here's the thing. It's a completely offline system, so Big Brother's not hearing you. It's programmed basically to hear specific command phrases. You can essentially tell it to do things like turn your lights off and on, or dim the lights, or various things like that. It can check your tank levels, your water heater, that kind of thing. Notice though, when I said appliance heavy, one of the things that they've done here is they've stuck with a larger, like 22-inch oven. A full, frankly, very few even mid-sized fifth wheels run an oven that big, and that's what they're using in their smallest trailer over here. And that is a 12-volt fridge with separate freezer. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 5.7 cubic foot in its entirety. The oven is standard. A convection electric oven microwave combo is an optional item, and this little guy over here is our solar charge controller, which is factory standard on these. These also have an 1800 watt inverter. So that's enough to be able to run like coffee pots and things like that off of I think pretty much every household outlet in this RV is run to that inverter. And if we look down to the left of the bed, there's that black square on the light colored carpet covering. That is your inverter remote. That's where you can turn that off or on. Now, once again, this is where the RV industry loves to just say, it's a queen bed. But guys, no, it's not. That is I think 54 by 74. And if I'm not mistaken, that either is or it's right next to being, in the residential world, what's called a full-size bed. So you're going to want to kind of keep that in mind. If you're a taller, long-legged guy like me, your feet are going to hang off the bed, and the bed goblin union is going to tickle and lick your pinky toes, which is so weird in the middle of the night. I always thought it was my cat, and then I woke up, I'm like, wait, I don't have a cat. The irony is I do actually now have a cat, and I was like, maybe he'll chase off the bed goblin union. But no, my cat doesn't care. My cat just watches the bed goblin union tickle and lick my pinky toes. It's the creepiest thing. Anyway, what I like about this is not anything to do with the bed goblin union. It's the fact that you have those dual side stands with the household and USB outlets. But what they did with storage here, I think, is pretty awesome and very, very welcome, at least in my eyes. The storage, again, in the RV is limited, but the storage around the bed, I think they really knocked out of the park. I love the fact that you don't have to lift the bed to get to all the storage. They make some of it come to you, although you do still have like a foot trunk kind of storage space here. Notice too, aluminum framework under the bed. That's one of those what I call Rockwood doing Rockwood things kind of features. Anything that they build in-house that'll be load bearing, whether it's the structure of the RV or load bearing furniture, such as a dinette that this RV doesn't have, or a bed, they make a welded aluminum cage in-house. You might notice it's kind of short, but that is hanging storage. I'm an XL wearer. I could probably do it. I got a bone to pick with the clothing makers of the world. Why is it when your sizes go up, your length doesn't? Like, if I bought a small, medium, large, or extra large shirt, they're all the same length. You know, if you're an extra large person, you need more length on the shirt. And apparently the clothing retailers either haven't figured that out or they don't freaking care. I don't know. Again, I'm off topic. We have the blackout roller shades. We also have a privacy shade here in the entry door. And if I lean back a little bit, I need you to go into imagination land with me. And I've got the bed up in the way. You know what? Hold on. Instead of going to imagination land, let me just make this cleaner and easier. There we go. What I'm getting at is the window coverage. When you're sitting over here in the sofa, between the window overlooking the bed, which, a windshield over the bed is something not everybody likes, but in an open concept like this, it does make the RV look and feel a little bit bigger. What I'm getting at is you actually have pretty decent window coverage here. And when you are sitting on the sofa, the view of the TV is pretty awesome, really, because the RV is not too tall, it's not too wide. You're awful darn close to it here. Now, let's give you a more detailed look at the kitchen. I love how your overhead cabinet doors in this little camper, they will support themselves, and this is all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry, by the way. An interesting thing with that refrigerator, you see what looks like a light switch on the wall between the fridge and the stove? That's actually a kill switch for the refrigerator. If you want to flat turn it off for like storage purposes, you absolutely can. Now, I'm always curious, what would you stuff down there in that sort of little open drop pocket under the stove? I love the fact that they didn't waste the space. And I'm going to give them credit. It's got a single drawer, but you know what? It counts. That's one more than zero. There are a large number of manufacturers who, especially in single axle campers and in some tandems I've seen, giving us 0 drawers. And when I ask them why, they're like, well, drawers are expensive, and a lot of times people buying a little camper like this don't know any different. I think that idea absolutely sucks. And it's not like it's 10 drawers, but at least it gives me a spot to put my flipping silverware in this thing, you know? And again, the cool thing about that Lagoon table is that it can pivot and swivel. It has a height up down adjustment. You can do a little bit of whatever you want with it. And this has a little bit of that simulated cinema seating going on with that fold down armrest. But notice how they give you cup holders not just in the armrest, but they actually build some cup holders onto the slide fascia to make you think and look and feel like it's a more complete sofa instead of just a jackknife sofa, which technically it actually is. Now, they've listened to some of your feedback in the past. They had these really pillow tufted cushion backs with the idea of making it look super fancy and fluffy when you were like when it was in the sitting position. But when you folded it down into the small sleeper that it is, it meant that nothing was flat and level, and it absolutely sucked and was borderline not good for sleeping like a grandkid or a big dog. And obviously, they've addressed that problem. Now, some people might ask why it doesn't have a theater seat. Well, if we look outside of the RV, you kind of see why. This slide out is positioned directly above the tire. So it's not possible in this little camper to bring that slide all the way down to the floor. So instead, it's actually a good 6 to 9 inches above the slide floor. To help you visualize that, I got you not only that outside footage, but I flipped up the sofa because this helps you realize that's the bottom of the slide. The slide hovers above the floor. And again, that bracket's not mounted to something that's going to rip out. It's actually screwed heavily into the slide floor. Now, if you tried to put a theater seat in this, first of all, the slide's not deep enough. Secondly, your head would be in the slide ceiling and in those cabinets because the sofa would be starting 9 inches up off the ground. It just ain't gonna work. Working our way back here. Some folks dislike the fact that there's a gap at the top of the Rockwood bathroom door. They do that. Some manufacturers do this for ease of production. Rockwood actually does it because they do include a bigger XL vent fan up here. And having that gap at the top helps overcome some airflow issues on the windows. We'll talk a little bit more about that outside. But the bigger vent fan that you would rather have is already factory standard on a Rockstaff RV, Rockwood and Flagstaff being the same thing if you weren't aware. Now, they give us a big double vanity right here. And if we pop that open, you can see that that's actually quite deep with a lot of good storage space in there. They also include a second, basically, medicine cabinet behind the toilet because why not? Why leave that big wall empty and blank? That could be a really good place to store some, some toiletries, some things like that. So they're very, very good about it using any space they can. They also give us a surprising chunk of counter space around that sink over here. There's even a little pocket of storage outside of that underneath of it. So if you open that bottom, what looks like door, it's basically just a service access panel. Now, the space around the toilet on this thing is awesome. Like, even as big as I am, I have zero problems in this bathroom. So a small RV with a big bathroom is nice. And that's a porcelain bowl on that. Almost every porcelain bowl RV toilet, there we go, RV toilet, has a plastic stem on it, by the way. So that's why I kind of specify porcelain bowl. And it is nice that they give us a rectangular shower in here. The thing is, this RV, one of its Achilles heels is the sidewall height of this. So first of all, take a look on the left side of the screen right about meow. You see that I obviously have to step way up into the skylight of that sucker. So I'm a little bit over 6'1", basically flat-footed. I'm wearing some big thick-soled boots because it's freaking cold today. My head's all the way up in that skylight. It's all I can do just to be able to stand straight up and down in that. Because this RV has a 6'1" sidewall, which is 5 inches shorter than industry standard. What it also has is a 5-inch barreled ceiling. So when you're walking around the inside of the RV, it still feels big enough and open enough, which sounds like a Stuart Smalley affirmation where I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. But you get the idea. It's a smaller camper. That could be a problem. I want to take some time to showcase that for you. If it's a deal breaker, respect, guys. If it's not great, give our team a call. If it is, remember that we went out of our way to showcase that for you, and we are more than happy to, you know, shoot you straight to make sure we help you find your second camper the first time, basically. That's kind of my goal here. Now, I gave you some quick looks there, but I love how they give you like a little shower caddy. You know, the mesh netting where you can keep some, you know, shampoos and body washes and stuff inside the shower because there's no shelving. And the shower miser is a water saver system, so you don't have to waste any of your fresh water into the gray tank waiting for the hot water to come out of the shower. Because the thing is, they improved their bathroom access and road mode versus every previous year, not necessarily in the way that I would have liked to see them have do it, but in a way that I think can still accomplish the task. It can still get the job done. First of all, you may have noticed that the slide system we were looking over there is a Schwintek slide. Now, one of the things that means is it's small, it's lightweight, but it also means that you should not sit in that sofa while it's retracted. And that's the extra keep you out of the service center information that I like to provide in my videos. Now, if this is your first time seeing this floor plan on camera, you know, when it's closed up, you basically have access to pretty much all your critical features and functions. Your bed up front that I'm standing next to is obviously not a problem. Your kitchen you can get to in its entirety. So if you need to stop and just open the fridge or cook something up, you have the opportunity. Now, last year, when you tried to open this door while the slide was closed, the door would stop right about here, and it would like basically bump into that that armrest right there. Now, it obviously still bumps into it, but the door opens more now than it used to. And I'm not saying this is perfect, ideal travel access. I personally still would have liked it if that armrest were removable, so that, you know, while you're in transit, if you like, if it was just on like keyholes, where basically you could just slot it out like a picture frame, basically. You know, you put a screw in the wall and you put the screw through the keyhole, the picture frame, and you could get in there. I'd like it if that armrest were removable, and I've seen some people aftermarket DIY that. They didn't accomplish that. You have to do a sideways travel trailer two-step, and I'd have to suck in the dad gut to get past that thing. But the fact is that I could. So they have improved the travel access, and I'd really be curious of that one major update right there. How does this strike you versus previous seasons? So if we take another look at the weights and measures here over on the left side of the screen, you can see that this is something that isn't too big and isn't too heavy. And one of the things that I like about Rockstaff, as it were, if you notice the GVW, the maximum weight, is a really goofy, weird number on this because they actually publish real scaled out, tested type numbers and not just like, we think it'll be okay up to that. You know, they do a little more work when it comes to it. Now, I mentioned when we were inside that is a Schwintek slide system. Some people really don't like those. Some people don't care. I like to just point it out so you can decide. I'm not here to try to change your mind on anything. It's one of the nice benefits of me making these videos. I'm not a commissioned salesperson, so my goal is just to help educate you to get you the thing that you like. Now, they've stuck with the frameless tinted windows that a lot of brands have gone away from. They're a little more expensive. Now, they can tilt open so you can get some rainy day airflow, but they don't tilt open very far, so the airflow kind of sucks. That's one of the reasons Rockwood has the bigger vent fan in the bathroom, and they keep the peekaboo I smell you bathroom door with the gap at the top and the bottom so that you can force airflow in with that bigger fan. You may notice they have also stuck with the classic gas and electric water heater. That is a 6-gallon vessel. It has a fast recharge DSI function, so you can run gas and electric simultaneously if you're so inclined. And speaking of simultaneous, you've got dual propane tanks on the front. Simultaneous doesn't exactly apply there. I think I was reaching for something and I missed. I do that regularly, actually, if you watch me frequently. But double propane tanks on a single axle is a very rare quality. Actually, I've seen some cutthroat budget campers this last year that have tandem axles and only a single propane tank. So this is, again, designed to be not the cheapest, most basic little camper that you're going to run into out there. Like, one of the things they didn't have to do, but Rockwood has always done, is they actually still maintain a laminated wall behind their nose cap, which is just crazy, exceptionally rare. And all of your walls are aluminum framed, laminated with double Asdel, so, you know, composite layering outside and inside, and they are not using a laminated floor on this. This is a 5/8 plywood floor decking that they run. Now, The baggage door on the other side is a little bit smaller because they had to give up some room for that water heater. But I left the griddle and everything in the box on this. And remember, I don't use fisheye wide-angle lenses, and I think that actually really helps you see that for a small camper, you have a very nice front pass-through compartment. You can also see how you have that portable solar prep point right there. You've got 200 watts of solar factory standard up on the roof. There's an option where you could slap a second one of those panels up there. We could also do that for you here at the store, or you could do it DIY after the fact. The RV has that 1800 watt inverter as well. So the cool thing is the roof, solar, and if you get a suitcase solar panel to slap on the side over here, they can work together, basically. They don't fight one another. Now, first of all, a lot of single axle little campers lack front and rear stabilizers. You can see that this not only has that, but they're using the better variety. You can also see some snowflakes flying across the screen. You can see how you also have the tube down there for the stinky slinky mounted across the belly. That's also where your spare tire would be located. Jumping over onto the other side of the tires here, I do want to point out, you do have a gas grill quick connect kind of tucked, I don't want to say behind the tire. I want to say almost on the inside of the tire. And that, it's like a weird location, but it actually is far enough out of the way that debris flying off the tire really shouldn't affect it too awful much. And directly above that is where that grill and all that stuff would hook up. It's not easy to see on camera right here, but that's your mounting rail right there. Now those tires, they do have tire pressure monitoring factory standard. Rockwood has also started including balancing beads in their tires. Now, I've never seen that have an awesome result, and I would love it if some owners or some people who work in like a tire shop could give us some input there. But I've heard a mix of feedback. I've either heard that, yeah, they don't really seem to do very much for me, or I've heard, man, those things are awesome. I've never heard anybody say those balancing beads cause me problems. So I'm not worried about it. I just don't know how much benefit is there. But I'm not saying there's not benefit. I'm saying I don't know. So, if I don't know, I'm not going to make it up. Now, you might notice, look at that baggage door. You see how it's got slam latches on it, just like the front compartments? Even here at the smallest product level that Rockwood and Flagstaff make, they're always going to be slam latches factory standard on everything. Now on the back side over here, you've got a full hot, cold outside utility shower down here below your little water and cable hookup point. So you do have hot and cold water outside. You can see how we have that 250-pound rated built-on roof ladder here as well. That is a very rare find among single axle campers, and frankly, even a lot of tandem axle RVs don't have one. You may notice also a 300-pound rated accessory hitch down there. It doesn't have a bumper, but it has a hitch on the back, so you can, slap various things on the back here. Now, your bathroom vent fan on all of your Rockwoods will always have the big roof vent cover built onto it factory standard, and I think that's actually the highest point on the RV because they run with a low-profile air conditioner to make sure that you don't end up popping the top off that sucker like a Lego brick. So these, I think, are just over 10 foot at their tallest point. And it is a single sewer outlet that's pretty normal in little campers. I will mention the RV's not level. I've got the nose of this RV way up high in the sky right now, so that looks artificially low to the ground. When this is balanced out, you're probably going to gain another 2-3 inches of clearance there. All right, guys, I'm going to go inside and try to get some feeling back in my my fingertips right now. I can't really wear thick, heavy gloves running a camera. Can't feel the buttons. Anyway, when you're ready, we're ready. I'm going to leave you some links in the video description to double check pricing and availability, whether it's at the Rockwood Geo Pro or a Flagstaff EPro, literally the same thing. Rockstaff doing Rockstaff things. You'll have one link to rule them all. Now, if you want something a little smaller or no slide, I'll try to remember to leave you some links for that. If you prefer something with tandem axles and a walk-around bed, I've got some options there for you as well. So whatever you're looking for, chances are if it's on wheels, we have it at Bish's RV. So until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.